That's why the Muslims are going to win.
What would cause Joe Rogan, a non-Muslim, to say this? For us to understand the context of why Joe Rogan would say, that's why the Muslims are going to win, we need to look back at his podcast episode with stand-up comic, actor, and podcast host Eleanor Kerrigan. They start with discussing the LGBTQ+ movement, and then Catholicism and all of the changes they have made and are making within their religion to become more modern and recruit new members.
Even something Lent. Right now we're in Lent, right?
Right.
There was so many rules that my mom had that we don't have, like my generation didn't have. And now it's a whole nother, like Lent is not, now I'm looking at kids like, what? You could do that? It's Lent. You're not allowed to, you have to do this, this, and this. But they've changed. They just changed so that they can recruit.
Membership in the Catholic Church has declined 20% since 2000, according to a study. Church attendance has also been in a steep decline over the past 60 years in Western Europe and the United States. This could be due to a lot of things, some of which may include the scandals involving sexual abuse of minors with priests in recent years, among other things. Yet many of the changes in the Catholic Church to reform and become more modern started when Pope Francis became the Pope in 2013. Some of these changes include that priests are now allowed to bless same-sex marriages beginning in 2023. In that same year, transgenders became allowed to get baptized and become godparents. There are also differences in what is said during Mass, and Kerrigan also mentions changes in regards to the rules during Lent, which is the fasting for 40 days between Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, leading up to Easter. This traditionally includes abstaining from meat on Ash Wednesday and Fridays, and avoiding other sins throughout these 40 days. But the changes in the Catholic Church aren't the real focus here. They admire Muslims not changing their religion to fit in with modern times and their devotion to their religion, especially their devotion to prayer.
There was this dude that was in an alleyway, and he was, the sun was going down, so he's praying.
Oh, I saw that.
Wherever you are, you got to pray.
I saw it in New York City.
Yeah.
And he was like, and it's so hard to find a space in New York City. So
Right.
I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Devotion.
Exactly. He was behind like a pillar that like went into, there was a little bit of room to go into these offices, and he was literally just behind the pillar, just doing that. And I was like, wow, that is right in Times Square.
Have you ever seen the one from Toronto?
Uh-uh.
You want to remember talk about how wacky Canada is?
Oh, yeah.
Toronto, it was Toronto, right? Call to prayer in the street. It's bananas.
Really?
The street is filled.
They just do the call to
Filled.
prayer and people just
Now,
come out of their houses?
I don't
or
know where this is. I
Okay.
don't know why they were there. I just saw the video and I'm like, whoa, this is Canada? This is in Toronto.
Wow.
This is in Toronto. So this is a protest for something,
Oh, there it is. Yeah, Toronto.
but it's still.
Oh, it's a protest. Okay, I
Even
thought
if it's a protest, you get that many people that are doing that. There's not another religion
that would do that.
that would do that. They are so much more devout
Yeah.
in their belief
Because
than
they're praying. Like the Catholics would just wave a cross in your face. And
they do like a
Yeah, yeah.
half-ass.
And a lot of people
Father,
would come
Son,
out,
Holy
yeah.
Spirit,
There's
yeah,
more-
the Muslims are out there in the street on their knees for traffic. We're
Yeah.
praying.
Your
you
traffic.
know, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that's a different thing.
It's Toronto. It's busy.
Yeah.
As non-Muslims, they are in awe to see Muslims so devoted to their prayers wherever they are, whether that be in an alleyway in downtown Austin, between buildings in New York City, or at a protest in Toronto. When the call to prayer sounds, everyone gathers and prays the prayer together. The second pillar of our religion, which we hold so dear to our hearts. They comment on how no other religion would do that. But it was not the act of the prayer itself that fascinated them, but the devotion of stopping everything and coming together to worship God. Even in the past, Rogan has commented on the devotion of Muslim MMA fighters and how their devotion leads to their success.
Having a rigid schedule like that and having extreme discipline and having a real purpose, like when you're doing this to pray to God and you have these 5 prayers that you do during the day, like it keeps you on the path.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys, there's something to whatever Khabib's doing that's not just technique. It's not just that they have great technique. It's not just that they're tough guys. There's also this devout sort of ideology that they've ascribed to that they live their life by. They're so devout in their religious beliefs that they have so much confidence. It's almost like that's all taken care of. Like they can just concentrate on what they do.
Yeah.
Like that all, God has a plan for everything. You don't have to like have this existential angst that a lot of people roll around through life with.
Rogan further celebrates how Islam offers them success through having a rigid schedule and a purpose, and how this keeps one on the path. Having our schedule of the 5 daily prayers that we adhere to offers us success. Even in the call to prayer, it reminds us,
حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح.
come to prayer, come to success. And some fighters, like Khabib, he mentions, this is not just technique in fighting. It is having tawakkul, having confidence, being free of angst, and being able to focus on what we really need to do because God has a plan for us.
That's why the Muslims are going to win. They don't give a who joins. That's
Exactly.
Ramadan is you got a month and nobody's eating. All day
Unbelievable.
long, no water, no food.
So now we know. That's why the Muslims are going to win. Rogan also highlights the month of Ramadan, the 4th pillar of our religion, how it appears strict, but doesn't waver in the face of wanting to satisfy our desires of hunger and thirst. Islam is the same as it was 1400 years ago. It doesn't fold to the norms of modern society and doesn't care who joins. We are reminded of this in Surah Az-Zumar, Ayah 7. If you disbelieve, indeed, Allah is free from need of you, and He does not approve for His servant's disbelief. And if you are grateful, He approves it for you. And no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. Then to your Lord is your return, and He will inform you about what you used to do. Indeed, He is knowing of that within the hearts. Inshallah, this reflection of Rogan and Kerrigan's conversation can help us appreciate the religion of Islam even more than how they admired it here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and catch our next video. May Allah guide us, keep our hearts steadfast in His religion, and make our devotion to Islam offer guidance to non-Muslims.